Hi everybody, I hope you're doing well today. It's another episode of D'un inconnu à l'autre, from a stranger to another, my now bilingual podcast or show. And my name is Mick, and you are welcome in my show right now. We're going to talk about a few things. And first, I just want to say that I won't have a lot of visual effects right now and today's show, so you can just like put that YouTube link in your background or even listen everything in few days on Spotify or any podcast platform. It's on my website too, because yeah, it's not important that you see my beautiful smile right now, but still, if you wanna see it, if you wanna be here, thank you and welcome to my show. And there's still the comments section if you wanna comment right now. And thank you for everybody who's watching. So, where should I start first? Last video I was talking about talking about making a balance between the mind, the body, and the spirit to be able to open our art and create the transformation. And as you know, right now we are living a beautiful transformation, uh, even if we don't want to live it. And we got to talk about that transformation because it's gonna happen. It's happening first mentally, we see a lot of people they're opening their mind about all the informations out there, everything that we didn't know a few months ago. Some people can call it conspiration or something, but finally people are starting to think for themselves. And when I say people, I say myself too. But yeah, a lot of informations out there, a lot of protest. People are saying, because we're realizing that we have the right to say no. No, this is not how I want life to go. This is not I want the life to continue. I don't want mask. I don't want my kids to wear mask. And it's like even if we're in that transformation. Even if there's a lot of protests and we see it all around the world, the government, they don't back off right now. They're not back enough, and we need to be aware of that. So I want to continue that topic today and talk about that transformation, the mental transformation that's gonna lead, which gonna lead to the body transformation with our physical aspect, which gonna lead to our spiritual evolution transformation, and to make us open our heart to everybody. So right now we see a lot of resistance. The manifestation, the protest we see right now. It's all a resistance to the transformation that they are trying to throw throw to us, and we try to put a block on that right now and to resist. But the question I want to ask you right now is, what is the final goal of that resistance? What is the final goal to stopping to stopping the transformation into protest? There's few way we can end, like, make that transformation end. We can choose to stay here and to resist eternally and to fight and to resist, or we can choose to go back to the old normal, where we're really at risk or in a position to any crisis to come back. Let's say we go back to normal, and we go back to our old job and do our old habits, and watch our shows at night, go to TV. But at the same time, even there, we were feeling like we were slaves at one point. So what is the point to go back there? And we knew, and now all the information's out there, and how that the like pharmaceutical, it's just an example, but that the pharmaceutical companies, they were acting like this for like decades right now. So even if we go back to the normal, we're going to be really at risk to repeat that crisis and that dilemma over and over again. So even if we protest not to go to the new normal, we still don't want to go back to the old normal too, because we want to be sovereign. We want to be autonomous at one point. Another choice that we can make, we can abdicate in submission and lose our rights. This is what can happen right now, but less and less because of you guys, and thank you very much. And it's all in the holy name of the public health. It's kind of funny when we just have to change words in their sentences, and we can go back like 200 years ago. Just change the world. The public health tells us by God told us or the Bible told us, and we right here we just go back to 200 years ago. But the new choice that I want to suggest to you, it's how to build a world, a new world with everybody together holding hands. And we are all divine builders, and we gotta acknowledge that and do it. So how can we guide that transformation for the better of everybody? And it's all in our choices. I saw someone protesting on Facebook or whatever about the fact that she couldn't go to Starbucks every day like she was doing because she need to wear a mask, and you're like, yeah, in the new world, I think we should live in a world that we don't go to Starbucks every day or to buy like industrial meat every day or something like that. We got to be more conscious, and that's gonna be the topic of the next show. Um, I don't know when it's gonna be, in a few days, I guess. But right now we gotta, like I said last video, I said that we gotta learn about things, and after we're gonna apply them. So let's learn about how to learn today and how to learn new skills to be able to build that new normal. And after that, I'm gonna talk about how can we think about our new choices to really apply our new choices. And I have a bad news for you about that, actually, because I will ask you, or at one point, you have to realize with everything we see on the news, and we've been taught that, like a lot of knowledge, not useless knowledge in school, but there's a lot of knowledge that has been lost, especially with my generation and the generation younger, and that knowledge allow us to be autonomous or sovereign, to live without any help from the government. And we lost that knowledge, and it is our responsibility right now, our duty, to learn back that knowledge, to get back to that knowledge. And there's a lot of people. I was talking to one of my friends today on Facebook, and I was say because he's a veteran. He was in the army before, and now he has his little farm, just personal, just to him. He's making his organic meat. He has his chickens and everything. And I was like, oh man, you're so inspiring. I'm really inspired. And everybody that is doing something like you should share your knowledge, and even like the accessibility with some resources, because this is what we need, especially with the government that is wrecking all the little businesses. We need to stand up, to hold hands, and to get back that knowledge that belong to us, or that like it was few it did like a few decades ago, and now we got to get back that knowledge because we need it to survive more than ever. And the bad news that I have to tell you is that maybe it's time to shut down the cable, even if the TV or Netflix or video games. And I know it sucks. We need to that distraction. We need to turn our brain off once in a while, but it's especially with the amount of time that we do it, because there's so many informations out there. I know there's bad things on YouTube's and whatever, and there's censorship or whatever, but there's so good information about gardening, about cooking, about building, about a lot of things that we should learn. And I know it's really more easy to watch Sons of Anarchy for the third time in a different order, just to see different scenes or whatever you do right now, or whatever I do right now. But we really need to just stop doing that. We're doing that less and really getting some knowledge back in, because at one point, if it continues, we will have to those knowledge to survive, and also we will have we will need that knowledge to build a society where we don't need the government, because this is really what we want, actually. But today, I'm gonna get into those topics in the next few videos too. But today I'm gonna talk about first how to learn and how to think by yourself. This is so important too, because when you know how to think by yourself, you think way more faster, and you're aware of the way you think, and you learn way more faster. You can shape your ideas, and this is the way you can maximize your or make your brain work the more efficiently. And everybody has a different brain, everybody has different way to think, so you have to do that work for yourself. And with that knowledge, I'm going to try to help you to do that work within yourself, with your brain, with your ability to think. So let's go with that one. The question that I have is, how can we think, you know? How are we thinking actually? It's kind of weird to ask that question, but we have to, you know, we have to think about thinking. It's kind of weird, you know, think about thinking. Um, how can we make our own ideas about things? And I want to say bravo or congrats to everybody that are watching that actually, because you already made your own ideas about a lot of things, about like what's happening in the world. But you have to make your own ideas about your habits now, about like, okay, maybe working 40 hours a day for a boss that doesn't care about you is not the options anymore, and you have to make your own ideas about your new habits. Maybe going to Starbucks and buying your snack or your coffee with, I'm sorry to say that, but with little fetuses, like part of fetuses inside it. Maybe you don't want to do it. Or best example, you know, a lot of people are manifesting or are protesting against that we're spraying the fields and our veggies and everything, but we have to stop buying those veggies to or like I don't know how to say that. Our power of buying is really more a biggest voice than the elections. So first, and you did it really well, is to stop to block our head for any other thought that people try to put in our heads. It's like in the movie Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know if you, yeah, you probably have seen it, but um, when they say that you have to hire some people in your head to block those thoughts, you know, that people try to put inside of your head, and you can do it because you're divine. You just have to shut down the cable and say, okay, I won't listen to the news, and I'm gonna gather some information by myself, and I'm gonna make my own mind about things. And you can do it. You are divine anyway, and you're realizing right now more than ever that you are God, you are divine, so you can do it. So how can you trust yourself by gathering that information and changing your habits? Um, and it's really special, you know, because just the fact that you're thinking makes you divine, because there's only the human being that is thinking on this planet right now that we know, you know. I'm not talking about the aliens or whatever, but there's only the human beings that are thinking consciously. There's the animal, they're thinking too by instinct, by nature. They are one with nature, you know, but they're not thinking with a consciousness like human. Like when there's a tsunami, it's just an example. When there's a tsunami coming, the animals, they feel nature and they know that they have to leave. For us human, we're like, okay, cool, I'm gonna have a video about that, you know. So maybe we're thinking too much, and this is one thing we do as human. Why are we thinking, and why are we thinking too much? Sometime sometime I was thinking, yeah, sometimes we think too much, sometimes we think too for a long time, and sometimes you can even like act without thinking. Is it because of the emotions? And last video I was talking about how to deal with your emotions. It's by having a balance within your mind, your body, and your spirit. So you got to calm your emotion first to be able to think. And there's kind of a connection between the heart and the brain, that when you control more your heart, you can have that connection between your mind and your brain. The science discovered lately, a few years ago, that there's some neurites on your heart. Neurites are cells that are acting like neurons, so like cells in the brain. But you have that on your heart, And the goal is really to make your art and your brain think together. So you got to calm your art first with a balance between the body, mind, and spirit, and then follow your heart, but make the decision with the brain. If you want to learn more about that, um, there's a scientist that I really love. I really like his work. His name is Greg Braden, Gregbraden, and he's talking about that. It is an amazing work. But it is really important to look at what is going on in our head. We can call it a meta reflection. Thinking about thinking, because, and I repeat that once in a while, but because as above, so below. What is inside of yourself, you're gonna put it outside of yourself. Our thinking, our interior thinking, inside thinking will reflect on our habits after a while, and it will come naturally. When I left, when I did my book and everything, I had a big transformation, and it came in my mind. I'm like, why should not like I wanna try not eating meat for a while, just to see what is going on with my body. And also, I was against what they do with industrial meats. I'm not talking about the meat you farm, like organically, or the meat you hunt, but I'm talking about that chain of madness of slaughterhouses and everything. I was against that, and because I gathered information about that, and I was like, I should just do, like, make my life differently. And it comes naturally after gathering information. That's why you're going out there in protest and you're sharing things on Facebook. It's because for you, naturally, you gathered so much information that it makes sense, and you need to do that. It's just that after one point, after 7, 8 months in the crisis, I don't think that the people who didn't wake up yet, they will wake up with more information. Even me, I stopped sharing that kind of information on my Facebook, because there's so many informations out there, and you're doing all a great job. But also because I think it's proven now. I think it's done. I think we know that there's something really wrong with what's happening right now, and we got to step up and ask ourselves what we can do about it. So, how do we think? I always separate things in 3 or 4 parts, just to be more clear, but I separated in 3 parts just to give you a good idea. And it's my theory, so it doesn't like mean anything, but at the same time, it's just to help you thinking about thinking now. If you understand. So we have the pre-reflection. So the pre-reflection, it might be more what surrounds the idea, your luggage, or your backpack that you have, where you put a new idea. Okay. And after that, there's the origin of the reflection. The origin is the idea itself. So you have the backpack with a lot of stuff in it, depend on your background, and you put the idea in it, and you get the post reflection. The post reflection is when, or the alienation, it's when the idea is transformed, because an idea grow even if you're not aware of it. It's like a seed that grows, and you gotta be aware of how it grows. If there are weeds around, if there, you gotta know your garden when you have a seeds that grow. And this is where I want to lead you today. We also got to acknowledge that any reflection will go with your 4 parts, the body, the mind, the spirit, and also the heart. And like I said last video, those four parts are entangled. So we will have to make a balance between those 4 parts for every ideas. Uh, that idea came into your way, put it in your backpack, and you're like, okay, how does it affect my body? How does it affect my mind? How does it affect? And for those ideas, we're gonna go in details more in the next video. So let's start with the pre-reflection right now. The origin of the not the origin, but the before it gets. So everybody has a backpack, a big backpack full of their stuff that they accumulate after years. It's like the psychological environment. So and if it's kind of in a disorder, or if there's an ideas there that is growing in your backpack that you didn't really like care to make it evolve as you want, or to give it food to evolve, you can have some preconceived idea about that topic without really knowing it, or about people, by example. But it's there. But the backpack is there, and it's pretty much what we think we know about the ideas, because all the ideas, they're stocking together and they're making link together. So when you have a good order in your head, in your ideas, you can classify them and making grow by order. Let's say you're talking about corruption in politics, and you learn about like lobbyism. You can, it's two different topics, but you can put them together and say, okay, maybe this is how it works, and go furthermore with other topics too. But the pre-reflection, you gotta be aware that you have a luggage, you have a background before receiving an idea that's gonna lead your idea to grow. If you have a bad information, it's gonna corrupt the information that's gonna stuck with it. But bad information usually um, comes from the others, because you have a beautiful spiritual instinct that you can just use to be okay. I trust that ideas, and I don't trust that ideas. And I know you cannot. Even some people, they can they can say that they don't trust their instinct or whatever. But when we start to trust our instinct, I swear it works, because it's divine by itself. So when you get like a new information, the first thing you should ask yourself is, should I trust that information or not? And if you don't trust, or if you're not sure, continue to look at some information, continue to search, continue, and you will have your own idea. And I'm gonna take the example of the meat industry so a lot today, because it is a hard idea to accept um, that stopping meat might be a solution, And I'm not saying that because I stopped meat myself, but it's because that feel, yeah, okay, meat is important for food or whatever. You can think whatever you want, and I will agree even with you. But the meat industry itself, the corruption of the meat industry, the slaughterhouse, the waste, all the products itself, the negativity itself in it, can make you think twice about not to cut meat off of your life, but maybe to choose your meat, and to have a better quality, maybe less, but better quality, or even to hunt yourself, or you can find many ways. But still, more you look into an ideas, and you are open-minded about your backpack, about like more your backpack is big, more you can put a space to for your ideas to grow, right? So if you have an open mind, you can still change your ideas, make them grow and everything, and accept the fact that maybe there's other ways to do than just buying a 12 pack of steak, of T-bone steak at Walmart on special, I hope you're following me right now. And yeah, the woman purse complex. I don't want to be mean about that, but that complex is like more you have a bigger purse, more you can put things in it, but at the same time, more you have things in your purse, and more it's hard to find stuff, So if you have a big open mind, if you have your mind really really open, you have to put order in your mind to be able to locate ideas, and put ideas together to come to a conclusion and to make them grow. And this is I we should consider our backpack. We all have different educations, different talents, different skill, and every day we encounter thousands of ideas, everything. When I look at that plant over here, I'm like, oh, it's green, oh, and it's looking good, but that branch here is broken. Why did it happen? There's a lot of thinking that we can do, that arrive, and that is since we're born. Since we learn our first word, we keep having ideas, knowledge that we make grow in our backpack, and those makes our opinions, our way of thinking, but also our habits. We've been taught that eating meat it's normal, even at that pace is normal all our life. So it's really hard to think after that maybe we can change our habits. Or we've been thinking that we have to stress all our life, and we have 4 children and we have to shop at Walmart to be really more efficient. But it's we have to make sacrifices at one point if we want a better world, and it starts all with our thinking process. And I don't want to guilt nobody. It's not my intention here. And I watched a lot of shows, a lot of series, everything. But you can watch 3 or 4 hours of your favorite show, we'll cut it out a little bit and learn about how to cook more efficiently or to grow your own food. Or there's a lot of things you can do to be able to have better knowledge. And maybe like 10 years ago we didn't need that knowledge, and your life was fitting you about working and watching your shows. But today we got to rethink that too, because we're a lot that we are against the system right now, about where the system is leading us, and we have to think about it. That's why you know all our experiences are leading us to think differently, and that's why we can be born with like twin with the same parents, with the same at the same time, with the same education, and we'll still end up like completely opposite. It's all because it's the way we think. It's our path, it's our intellectual path, and it's really linked with our spiritual path. And what makes the bridge between the two, it's our habits. Really simple. And more we accumulate things in our backpack, more it's getting heavy, for sure. And every time we cross a new ID, even if we don't want to take it, we still put it in our bag, and we make it grow, even if we don't know. We take it, we put it with the other, it's gonna be there. So every idea at long, and that's why meditation it's really really good and important, because once in a while it's really fun to, and it feels good to clear our mind. This is a good way to make order in our bag, and also to let one particular idea grow by just meditate for 15 minutes a day. And I swear I'm gonna repeat it every show, I think, but it's really a good way to organize your ID. But you put like every day you put an idea. Let's say you analyze its shape, where it come from, how it's deep, its goal, its values, if it's true or not, and then you put it, you classify it in your bag. Even if you want to throw it away, it's gonna go in your bag somewhere, because it's gonna come back at one point. Even if you forget about it. But more you look at that idea, and more you dig deeper, and more you're able to put it at one place. And you can create a pocket in your bag and say, okay, this is the I don't believe pocket, and put all your idea that you don't believe it. You acknowledge that that idea exists somewhere. But you can put it, okay, I don't believe in that, and maybe you will meet someone at one point that will make you take that idea and look at it again and say, oh, okay, maybe I didn't see it that way. Maybe if I learn more about it, I can put it with that idea there. So never know. And more we have idea that we didn't analyze in our bag, more we have like wrong thinking or misinformations. Misinformation is not about the ideas that like we read and we look, and it starts with a false narrative, and we just dig deeper and there's more and more false narrative. It's when we don't look at something. But I know people who look for themselves, and they're really eager to dig more and more and more, and they're really happy about because it's so empowering to get that knowledge by yourself. uh, that's the biggest lie about misinformation, is that people that are misinformed, like they say, they look at just one news and they say, okay, it's true, I don't need to look deeper. It's the opposite. The opposite is that people who who we say they're conspirationists or something, it's not true that they look at one thing and they don't dig. They dig so much in everything. And this is how, with your instinct, with your mind, you can make your own ID. And more you dig, more you can trust yourself because you are divine. Um, and yeah, and the idea is not it's to have a great idea to be spot on. I know things about that, and you cannot know everything, and you cannot be right 100%, 100% about everything. But you know what? Nobody is anyway. Even the government, even public health, even science. Science is all about not being right or not knowing everything. If we knew everything, science wouldn't exist, you know? It's all about discovering things. So it's all about admitting we don't know everything. But we gotta be careful because misinformation itself, if you don't look at things, it still can like rot in your bag at one point. It'll create moistures in your bag, or create a mold in your bag, and that can be dangerous. So, but I know you guys and everybody who looks at some good information, you dig more and more, and you know when there's misinformations anyway. If you dig at one point, you see an end or some answer that are not answered, and or some question that are not answered, and you're like, okay, that might be misinformation because I cannot go deeper than that. And this is actually what the government do. You know, it's like, oh, it's public health. I don't have to explain. It's public health. And when you don't have the bottom end of a question, of an answer, this is where maybe you should look somewhere else. You know, and there's a lot about that anyway in government or science or whatever, and you already know that for sure. But it's really when we understood an idea that to really take form and grow well in your backpack. Um, and there's some background in your backpack that will influence the idea to grow better or to grow worse. But a lot of time, if you're smart enough, it's gonna grow better. And it's a little bit like in the movie Inception again, from with Leonardo DiCaprio. Um, when they're in a dream, in a dream, in a dream, and then they put an idea in the right at the good place where the environment is doing everything to make it develop, you know, and they wake up from those dreams and they don't even know that idea is developing, but the idea is changing everything in their life. And after developing enough, the idea will change the habits and it will change the person forever, you know. So any idea that you didn't develop can change you for the worse, but every idea that you develop well will change you for better. And this is the purpose of your mind evolution, and this is the purpose of your soul evolution. And by just knowing that, what I'm sharing with you right now, you can really grasp it, take a control of your mind evolution, and accelerate your own mind body spirit evolution. But it needs sacrifice, you know. You gotta stay open. And one beautiful thing you can do is to share from a stranger to another, d'un inconnu à l'autre. Being ready to put some old conception, old ideas like aside and say, okay, if I share with that person without yelling, without like animosity, but just sharing, because that person is as smart as I am, that person is as divine as I am. I can really grow better, you know. We don't have the same background, we don't have the same skill. It's time to share because he can learn from me, and you're divine enough to make people learn every day, but you can also learn from that person, and this is why we share, and how we share. And when we open like this, we're gonna grow really faster with everybody. And nothing is really like is only black or white, huh? Like I said in French, I never said it in English yet, but I'm gonna say it right now. I don't trust everything that is presented to us when it's just black or just white. Everything is gray, and like a vaccine, let's say, you know, they say that it's just good, it's just white. But when you look into it, you're like, because everything is gray, if they want to present something white, maybe there's more darkness about it that we don't know and they want to hide, because everything is life is gray. and we have to rethink what they present us as white or black. Like abortion, for an example. Concept is really good. What they do with it, it's something else. And I'm not gonna talk about it right now. But like in the end games, two, three heads is more than it's better than just one. We think better when we are few people that think together, even if we're not on the same page on everything. It's the way we evolve, you know. And if we open our heart by balancing our mind, body, and spirit, we can share with each other with really unconditional love and be true to ourselves and with each other, and this is how we're gonna grow, and this is the future of our society, sharing, holding hands, and loving each other, and this is how we're gonna grow out of that system where we kind of slave our numbers right now, right? um, you know, it's really rare that someone change our mind literally right here, right now. You know, so sometimes it takes some time. If mostly when someone talks to us really like in bad way with animosity or sarcastically. I really don't like sarcasm, by the way. I know a lot of people like it, but sarcasm destroy communications. It can be funny, but it's mean and it destroy communications. So for a joke, okay, but be careful with sarcasm because it shut off the learning process between two people because it doesn't add nothing. It's just mean. And this is a little bit the problem with social networks right now. There's good things on social networks because there's a lot of sharing, but what we see it's more like polarized speech right now. It's either white or black, and even from some people that are not awake. Like I don't like to use that word, but because we are never really awake in life, because life is a dream first, is an illusion, but also we can still evolve. So even people that we consider not awake, they can teach us things. Even my son is 2 years old and he can teach me a lot every day. So we're gonna be open to learn from the others. And once we're open and our backpack is ready and everything, it the origin of the idea or the idea itself should be planted like a seed. Sometimes the seed can grow right away if you're really interested in it, and sometimes the seed can take years or decades before growing. Sometimes you hear something 10 years ago and you're like, oh, this is what that person told me back then, or oh, I didn't understand that back then, but now I understand it. And this is the beauty of it, you know. So even if you share information with people, and when you share information, don't share information with people they don't need, they don't want to hear about the information, you know. It's about free will. If they don't want to learn, it's their problem, you know. But if you say something to someone who is open and he doesn't agree, your job is done. If you know that if you know your truth, your job is done, because like I said, he has to take it in his backpack even if he doesn't want it, and maybe it's gonna grow 10 years after, but it's there and your job is done. That's why everybody is doing a good job on Facebook right now. I saw a lot of people on my Facebook like that were arguing with me in March about what I was posting, and now they are the one who post things like I was doing 6 months ago, and now I'm not doing it anymore. So and I'm not saying that to brag or whatever. I'm just saying because I never went to those people and say, oh, I told you or whatever. But I know that I planted some seeds here and there, and this is what we do right now for an evolution. And the next step of that evolution is changing our habits with our day-to-day life. And this is the way that people are waking up, like little by little, by just seeing or putting some seeds in their bags, and the seeds are growing. Um, and it is like a miracle, you know, because even if you plant the seed, you're not gonna be the one who's gonna help grow, you know, or maybe that person is gonna first when there's big emotions, like I said. It's really hard with a roller coaster of emotion to learn or to make an idea grow. So sometimes you fight with someone or whatever. For me, it's that, I had to to be like negative and a little bit like I don't know how to say it in English, but I need to be negative about it to be by myself, to breathe it out, and after that, I start to think about what that person said, what my girlfriend said, and I'm like, yeah, she was right. Actually, I have to think more like this. I gotta let it go or something. So even if you're part of if you planted the seed, doesn't mean you will continue to grow, but else, someone else, somewhere else gonna do it. Because, like I said, and I'm gonna repeat it, I think every show, the spiritual path right now and forever, it's the only thing in life that has no opposite force that create oppression against it. If you know physics a little bit, everything in life has a opposite pressure, an opposite force. When I push my cup here on my desk, it's because there's a force from the cup that is pushing my hand that I can move my cup. You know what I mean? But our spiritual path right now is just going in one direction. Even if we want to go down or sideways, there's something called the karma that is acting like gravity that's going to bring you back on your path. And if you want to hit hard and to go sideways, it's the karma is gonna bring you more on it and more strongly on it. But still, karma is making sure that your spiritual path is just going on one way, and this is beautiful. So if you plant a good idea, a pure idea to help, to love someone, it's gonna grow. It's sure, and your job will be done. That's the beauty of it. And those ideas will generate some habits after a while, and some people will change themselves. It took me 20 something years to stop drinking, but I finally did it this month. So I needed another idea. I needed to grow it another way, and I knew that that was kind of bad for me. I had a DUI and everything, but I really needed the right time, the right surrounding to do it, and I'm proud of it. Actually, that's why I'm talking about it. But even me, even everybody, if an idea is good for you, it's gonna grow because it's the only way it works. We should just take the time to put the new ideas that's gonna grow and put it in the good garden, with the other in the right garden with the other ideas. And there's so much information out there that you can just continue to learn. And now learning, like I said, should be more important than than putting like turning our brain off and playing video games or um, or watching the same show over and over again. We all have passions, and YouTube is filled with some good thing that we can learn really easily. I'm doing mechanics now because I learned some tricks on YouTube. My dad showed me a few tricks when I was young because he's a mechanic too and never did it. And now I'm on YouTube and I'm doing it like 15 years after my dad shown me. And just a little tip like this, for me, writing helped me so much to develop my ideas, to know everything I'm talking about right now or in all my shows. It's all things that I wrote through my life, and sometimes I don't have definite, and I don't have an idea that is really clear in my mind. But I start writing, and the idea is transforming itself while I write. The process of the transformation of that idea is physical on my paper sheet. Pablo Picasso was saying that the inspiration was coming by working. Even if you're not inspired, even if you're not, if you needed to do another habit, you maybe it's by doing it that you're going to think about it. But if you feel the need to change something in your life, like learn about it and do it. And there's a lot of changes to do right now in our lives. So I invite you to do your research, not just about conspiration things, even if it's important to wake up, but when you change your habits and it's aligned with your true purpose, or it's aligned with love and unconditional love and for a better world, it's gonna work. It's gonna grow, and it's gonna work for you because this is how life works. Therapeutic, it doesn't mean that everybody is doing it properly right now. And we all a little bit individualistic in our way that we want the best for us and for our family. And it's really good. But if we do it in a way, if we think in a way that it should be good for everybody in life and for life itself, uh, life gives you the answer or some signs to help you do what you do and to help you grow your ideas in the best way. And when we refuse to think by ourselves, it's like refusing to grow, or to evolve. And it's kind of impossible, I don't want to grow or I don't want to evolve. It's we should be grateful for evolving into to the openness or for our free will to change our ideas, And if we refuse to think, I'm sorry to say that, but karma will make you think twice for sure, because like I said, thinking is evolving, and our spiritual path is the only thing that grows in just one side, in just one direction. Because the ideas, it never stops to grow, never stops to grow. Um, Thank you for the comments, Nicole, by the way. Um, and it's the beauty of it, the beauty of the spiritual path is really that you're all in the good way, in the good path, and you can continue to go that way too. You have everybody has a background, a different background, but everybody can connect with unconditional love with everybody. And personally, after connecting with everybody, um, you will feel a special bond, a special connection, a divine light connecting yourself with the other. And this is how we think, We have that special bond, and we connect with someone and we're like, oh, that person, I really like the way he thought, I gotta think like this. I gotta connect my thought with that person. And this is how you're gonna make that thought evolve. And then we have to learn how to maximize our learning and our ideas. It's the way we. So if you want me to resume, there's the backpack of the idea of all your ideas where you put everything together. You gotta put everything in order and like that to make your ideas grow. You have the ideas that are coming and you take in and you put it in the pockets you want. And after that, you have the food for your ideas with connecting with everybody, with learning more about things, with reorganizing your backpack so you can make all your ideas. And you don't even need you don't need to want to change your habits, because with all the ideas and all, you're so divine that your path will do it for yourself. You will have a lot of bad or good ideas, and then you're gonna be okay, good, I need to move in another country, and just for that, and life's gonna give you the opportunity, because this is life's job, and it's gonna do it, And when you are aware of what I'm talking about right now, you can maximize your learning. And even it's like I said last time, when you work out your body and when you focus on one muscle and you work it out, you have better results because you focus on how it works, and you feel it and you know how it should work. It's the same thing with learning. You can focus on how you learn and to learn more and to reorganize your thoughts, but it works, and you can be even, I don't like that word, but you can even be smarter, and not just about the corruption or the medias or the government or your neighbor that is wrong or whatever. But we need right now, right here, our new knowledge to create a new world. So we gotta take to put aside, I'm sorry to say that, all the shows, all the video games, all the news, and even like if you feel that it's important to follow the news really like tightly these days, or to play your video games, like to be better at that one, or to watch that show to the end. And I watch shows too, I'm not saying to cut everything off, but I'm saying that there's a way to learn. And you can, let's say, this is just a suggestion right now, but you can tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna watch an hour of gardening before watching my shows. I'm gonna watch 30 minutes of meditations. I'm gonna watch 30 minutes of I don't know, I'm gonna learn a new recipe or a new type of, I don't know, exercise to do. There's a lot of things you can learn. The information is now out there in 2020, and you can learn a lot of things to be more self-sufficient, more autonomous, and this is what's going to bring by itself the second awakening of the world, the physical one. Because, like I said, the universe is inside of you, and more you make changes in your mind, in your body, in your spirit, and in your heart, you're gonna throw that transformation in everybody other's consciousness, because your consciousness is linked to everybody's consciousness. So you can do it, and it starts by learning, by transforming the mind, by awakening the mind. And still, the awakening is not just learning about the corruption in the world, but it's about learning that you are divine first, that you are a god, and after that to learn how to be autonomous and how to provide for yourself and for your family, and not to depend on the government, not to depend on the media, not to depend on everything. I know, we cannot go outside of buying gas from Petro Canada or Irving or whatever, and I understand that there's powers that are really strong, but we can make our own choices and say, no, I don't want this, no, I don't want that. And it takes a lot of sacrifices to homeschool, to grow your own garden. But you know what? When you hold hand with each other, you can do it. And you learning how to network with everybody, learning how to go to the market and talk to people, and having an idea of starting a commune or starting a networking of food supply, whatever you have. Like, the mind is an infinity of possibilities, and you can do it. That's why I invite you to think today, to think about how to think and to focus about how to think, because you have the power of deciding everything you want. And what you decide right now, it's really more important that election, because all the parties in elections, and it's not about just Quebec or New Brunswick or United States, or it's about the world right now, and everybody in the world are on the same page. All the governments in the world are on the same page right now. And if you don't agree, you have the power of decisions, and it is the power when you buy things, and when your habits and the system you encourage, and you can slower and slower. It's not something you can do like from one day to another, but you can think for yourself and make the decisions and make the sacrifices you need to to have a better life for yourself. And then if you have a better life for yourself, you're gonna throw that to the connection in our consciousness with everybody, and you're gonna make a better life for everybody, your surrounding, and even beyond. So you can think by yourself for sure. um yeah, there's a lot of things that I can talk, but I'm gonna continue on that transformation, your habits and everything, on the next topic. Yes, it's going to be in a few days. It's going to be about the awakening of the body and the awakening of the habits, and there's a lot of things to talk about. So I'm going to leave that topic here. But today, maybe I made you laugh. Maybe I made you cry. Maybe I made you say, "Oh, he's right at for some viewpoints." But there's one thing for sure that I made you, and is I made you think. I I I put a big idea in your backpack, and it is your job to make it grow, and to be a part of that transformation that we live, for yourself, for you, the people you love, and from the world. I love you all, everybody. Thank you very much. If you want to subscribe to my channel right now, you can go on Dernier Connu on my name is, on YouTube, my name is Machiavemic. I'm gonna show it on the screen for the people that want to see it here. Machiavemick, and I'm also, all this is on my podcast too. It's on my website too. If you want to see my website, I'm gonna show it to you. It's my name, michaelbodard.com, just here. And even if it's in French, you can go on podcast. You have the audio of everything I do, and also it's on like Spotify, Apple. I think it's on SoundCloud too, and all the podcast systems that we know. And I have it's my third video in English. My channel is bilingual right now, so I invite you to watch the two others because they're really significant also. And I want to tell you that I love you guys. Be safe, be prepared, be ready, and mostly be strong because I'm gonna repeat it again. You are divine. I love you guys. Thank you.